Imagine a community of great possibilities and prosperity built by Black people for Black people. Places to work, live, worship, shop, and play. This all existed at the Black Wall Street. In the early 20th century, African Americans turned Greenwood neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma into a self-sufficient, prosperous business district. The term Black Wall Street was used until the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921. Stonecrest New Black Wall Street was developed in 2021 and has been put together to feature some of Metro's Atlanta's up-and-coming businesses. What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Miss Naya Nicole, here to spark your soul, and I'm back with another video reporting about the new Black Wall Street located in Stonecrest, Georgia. Now, this is inspired by the original Black Wall Street that was located in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, before it was bombed. So that was started by O.W. Gurley and other several Black business owners, and it created a community full of Black investors and business owners who were able to create wealth for our race. So let's take this tour and explore what these Black businesses have to offer. African Americans worked mainly as servants in Tulsa, where they developed their own society with its own economy. Black businesses clustered on a strip of land that would become known as Greenwood in 1905. When African Americans acquired the land, their businesses included grocery stores, barbershops, doctors, real estate agents, schools, and also they had their own neighborhood newspaper. The massacre began during Memorial Day weekend after 19-year-old Dick Rowland, a Black shoe shiner, was accused of assaulting Sarah Page, a white 17-year-old elevator operator. He was arrested and rumors began to spread throughout the city that he was going to be lynched. Upon hearing reports that a mob of hundreds of white men had gathered around the jail where Rowland was being held, a group of 75 Black men, some armed, arrived at the jail to protect Rowland. The sheriff persuaded the group to leave the jail, assuring them that he had the situation under control. What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Miss Naya Nicole, and I'm here to spark your soul, and I have the pleasure to interview one of the business owners that's located in the new Black Wall Street. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, Janine St. Louis.
Yes, Janine St. Louis, thank you for taking the time to do this with me. Can you tell me a little bit about your business and the name of your business?
Sure. My business is called the St. Louis Collection. I'm a metalsmith, so I customize jewelry made with sterling silver, brass, copper, and bronze. My work is all about cultural pride, so I love to storytell or create themes around different things in our culture. But I particularly love paying homage to the ancestors, revolutionary ancestors in particular, to add a historical, educational element to my work.
That's amazing. Some of the ancestors is featured on your mural?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of them, whether it's from Africa to beautiful brothers, Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Miss Naya Nicole, and we're back from that brief intermission. So we were just discussing the ancestors that was located on your mural. So can you explain to me, what is the process of making jewelry?
Well, there's a lot of steps to it. I would say repetition is huge if you're doing metalsmithing. My process, I'm inspired by us. So I think of just different things in our culture that I really want to bring to life in jewelry. And I create a theme and kind of have a story behind each series that has to do with our culture. So that'd be my process. A lot of it is also doing like research and history on our different figures and just different things that happen during our course of life, before slavery and after and during. And so that's my process. And then once I have that, then I try to execute it in a jewelry form and take it from there.
So this is great, because this is like your way of basically pushing on in the fight that we have all of as Black people in order to tell our stories on who we were, but prior to the whole slavery story and our journey now and the future. So what really sparked you to start telling your story in the jewelry making way?
I saw an article that in Texas, they were changing the narrative about how we got here and what our role was, and tried to say we were indentured servants or this sort of thing. And I see that as being dangerous when you're not being honest about the history, because then you leave a generation to not recognize when they're being confronted with some type of oppression. And they won't fight because they don't know how to recognize it, because they don't know the history. and so they don't recognize the patterns. So I'm like, oh no, we ain't gonna do that. So I love making jewelry, and that's really why I got into metalsmithing, was to be able to do a creative way, a different way of telling my story through jewelry.
It's like a wearable textbook.
Yes, it is. It is. So I do want to show you my version of a Valentine's Day, but it's really Black Love Day. Instead of the heart, I put the African continent, and I have so it's like a 2-for-1 deal. It comes with 2 chains. It has king and queen. So the man would wear this, and the woman would wear the queen. So instead of the heart, that's my African continent there. This is part of my Warrior series, which is what you see on the mural. Basically, this is what I mean when I love to pay homage to the ancestors. I have my indifferences about Martin. I'm not a big integrationist, but I do appreciate his spirit towards the end, where he started to meet with Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X to talk about how we can bring Black economics into the community, because he realized the devil ain't trying to work with us, and they didn't ask us to be there with them. So then we go over here. I have these wonderful money clips that pay homage to the ancestors again, and some living. I did have a Assata Shakur. We have this beautiful Jean-Jacques Dessalines. He won Haiti its independence, and his quote is, "Leave nothing white in sight." So he learned, he understood what the enemy was, and wasn't trying to compromise him, his country, or his people. And and he did what he had to do to win the war. And it was the only slave revolt to ever win. And so that's what these are. These were made for fathers to be able to pass down to their sons, so we can start to teach these babies about cultural pride at an early age. And then I do these cuffs here. They have African proverbs on them. And just some things, I just love the stone and create around the stone. No real significant meaning behind it. And then I do little nature things like this with a mama and little baby bird there. And quite a few things. And I do have a series coming up called 100% Cotton. And that's basically paying homage to the ancestors who had to go through that. And there's going to be, it's going to look 3-dimensional. It'll be like nothing you've ever seen before. But yeah, it's to tell our story about that time during that Jim Crow era, or that cotton picking phase that we went through. And that's just one of the things we had to do. We also had to do tobacco and sugar and rice and coffee and all these sorts of things. And so my first, installment of that is 100% Cotton. So make sure you stay tuned.
As the group of Black men left, an elderly white man approached O.B. Man, a Black man, and demanded that he hand over his pistol. Man refused, and the old man attempted to disarm him. A gunshot went off, and then, according to the sheriff's report, quote, all hell broke loose, end quote. At the end of the exchange of gunfire, 12 people were dead, 10 white people and 2 black people. White rioters invaded Greenwood that night and the next morning, killing men, burning and looting stores and homes. Around noon on June 1st, the Oklahoma National Guard imposed martial law, ending the massacre. About 10,000 black people were left homeless, and the cost of the property damage amounted to more than $1.5 million. What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Miss Diane Nicole, and I'm here to spark your soul, and I'm back with another interview with Miss Dr. Ronnie. How you feeling today?
Fantabulous.
Can you tell me the name of your business?
The name of our business is Cuba Kingdom LLC.
So how did you come up with that name?
Well, my husband actually come up with the name because years ago he changed his name, and his name come from the Cuba Kingdom in Congo. So he decided that we were going to change the name to that so we can inspire people that they can also use the name of their countries or different things to apply to their businesses.
Right, bringing in their culture.
Bringing in the culture. A lot of people from that culture, most of the times when they come to America, they're like really Americanized and they have an American clothes. So we want to teach them that they can also wear their clothes to appreciate their culture.
So how long have you been in business for?
Oh, my. For the boutique, we have been in business 20 years. And we have a warehouse in Decatur where we teach and inspire women to win. And we came here to a fashion show, and the guy said, I want you here because we do not have nothing like that in the new Black Wall Street. So we are one of the founders, members.
Wow. Do you create all of the pieces here?
Yes, we create the pieces, and really before we used to sew here, but since I went to Africa and see how the people work so hard, and I was inspired to give them work there. Because when the work comes back, it is more finished and it is faster than when we do it here in the USA.
Wow. Okay. So this is all being made within Africa.
Yes, we have Ghana. Most of the bags, like these Sankofa bags, they're done in Africa, in Ghana. And then we have Kenya with the jewelry and Nigeria with the gaylace. Because most people here cannot tie the gaylace. And what we do, a portion of this goes back to the African women, like the women who have no husbands, small children, so it could really enhance the community. And they don't have to sit and wait on somebody else to give them.
Right. Not only are you bringing that culture here, but you're also giving back
Yes.
and bringing the dollar within your own community.
Exactly. It's an awesome thing to do. Because even here, lots of people says, wow, you sitting in a gold mine. How can I do this and how can I do that? So I teach them how to better their best. I won the Woman of Influence Award just by teaching others how to prosper.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. Where can we find these classes? Are they online or are they here in person?
In person, we're starting to do the DIYs. So we don't really have an online class. But for I'm a lock teacher. So my YouTube channel is Ronnie's, RONISSTYLES Styles, where they can go and learn about hair, what to use, so they do not have the breakage and retain the moisture and stuff in their hair.
So you're just a queen of many talents. I heard you. Well, okay.
At 68, I find myself really, really, really inspiring others more because I want to leave a legacy. You know, when I go home to the Lord, which I'm not ready yet, but whenever I go, someone should be able to say great things about me and should be able to learn how to better their best.
You're absolutely right. We're here to help each other and utilize our gift in order to continue to fight in our mission.
Exactly.
So your assistant was telling me about a fashion show that you have coming up?
Yes, we have the Black History Fashion Show coming up. We have had many fashion shows, but she's my mentee and I'm putting her forward so she could utilize her skills and learn how to better her best.
Yeah, she was styling too. That's how we got in touch with each other. We was complimenting each other's outfits. So I want to take the time to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interview you. I'm Miss Naya Nicole, and I'm here to spark your soul. Stay tuned.
These are our head wraps, and I teach people how to make and how to tie head wraps. Even someone who do not know what they want to do, you can teach them how they can buy the fabrics and what amount, how to size it, and they can have a very lucrative business just making head wraps. Because everybody like head wrap. Like you have the halo wrap, that's what we call it, because it's like a halo. And then they can get it wrapped like how I wrap it. And a lot of people look at it and they said, oh, that is so hard to do. But it's all because they do not know what to do. When you teach, because they're failing before they try. So we teach them and then they can better their best. It's so important for them. Rather than they sit home looking at television, they can take something as small as this and we call it from rags to riches.
Welcome to Africa. You been to Africa before?
No.
Really? First time? You can say you've been to Africa now.
So people refer to you as Mansa Musa?
Yeah, and I'm gonna take it. So the story, I'm from Senegal, born and raised, and I've been in this country 7 years now. So my goal is just trying to connect our people here, use the culture back home. So when I was thinking about the name, I found out like 95% of my stuff are coming from West Africa, Senegal, Mali, Ghana, Nigeria, and that part of Africa was led in the past by a king named Mansa Musa. So he's a richer guy in history. So I say, you know what? Let me call my store Mansa Musa. So it's a proud for our like black people, saying like we come from his lineage somewhere.
You're paying homage and also utilizing your business in order to spread the history and knowledge, right?
Right. I used to tell to my people who come down here, that's not just a store. It's not like a store where you can buy and live. No. We try to teach people about history. We talk about DNA. We talk about ancestry. We talk about culture, education. So it's like more cultural center than a store.
Right. When I met you, you welcomed me to Africa.
Yeah, so that's the way we try to bring people down here. We let them, hey, welcome to Africa. That's the place, and that's the vibes we got in Africa. You see all those color from like Senegal, Mali, Ghana, Nigeria. We try to bring all those vibrant color. Also now we got some partner in the south, like in East Africa, South Africa, Ethiopia, and Kenya.
So tell me, where are these baskets from?
So the baskets are handmade from Senegal. They all handmade, and they made out sweet grass and recycled plastic. So just to make something like that one, it takes to them like 30 to 40 hours, and it can be used like a hamper. You see how deep it is. Yeah, see how deep it is, big. That can be used like a hamper, store clothes, toys, And what we're doing for basket, we work with a small community of women in Senegal. 95% women, they have skill and production, but they do not have like the market. So we try to help them to get the market down here by what we call like fair trade action. Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been in business for?
2 years now. I'm a baby, right?
That's good.
So for my story, back home I used to do business. My mom used to be a very strong businesswoman, so she's my inspiration. I learned a lot from her, but when I came here, I just want to take it in another level. So that's the reason why I'm in business down here.
Are you the first generation?
Yes, I am the first generation, the first one in US in all my family. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to transition here and possibly start a business?
From Africa?
Yeah.
It's different. It takes time, but it's sure. You just have to trust yourself, to know where you're going, to make your business plan and get ready, and not listening to people who gonna tell you it's not gonna work. No fear. You don't care about fear. You just go straight and make it happen. So that's the place to make it. And I used to say to people, this country is a place. If you really want to make it, that's a place.
What was something that was like out of the norm in this country when you first came here that you remember?
That's a question now. So when I first got here, it was summer. Like I'm from Senegal, and Senegal is very hot. Everybody tells it's hot, and I was going to Phoenix, Arizona. And people were telling me, it's very hot down there. I said, no, I'm from Senegal, so I can make it happen. And the first thing is when I step out of the airport, the heat I get, man, that's indescribable. I don't gonna forget that one. So that was like my first shock with US. Then you see like the family way, how people living here is very different how we live back home. Back home we are very, very connected, we help each other, we are more connected back home. So that's a real thing, how people maybe need to work it out here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you say that Black people of America is welcome back in Africa?
Yes. And I used to tell to all my customers, hey, I have an open list down here. If you are really thinking about to go to Africa, let's talk. You're welcome. It's like home. You're gonna feel like connected. You're gonna have another feeling. Most people who haven't get a chance to travel to Africa, they got some ideas. But once you step yourself down there, you're gonna have like another version of history. You're gonna know we're all the same. Yeah, we were just saying we welcome everybody. And I told to my black people, hey, go to Africa, go invest down there. Chinese are there, French people are there. They're taking all the money. Go get your money. Go invest there.
Right. No, that's some real facts, though. But thank you so much for
You're
your
welcome.
time.
You're welcome.
If somebody is interested in traveling to Africa, how can we reach you?
So I am on IG, Instagram. My Instagram is Mansa Musa underscore MENSA underscore MUSA underscore ART underscore. So Mansa Musa Art. I'm probably gonna give you like more information about my business card so you can share it to people. They can read it here.
Well, thank you so much. I'm Miss Naya Nicole, and I'm here to spark your soul.
Okay, so my name is Jefferson, and I have the store called Star Status within the new Black Wall Street market. And Star Status is comprised of two businesses, which is athletics and enemy. And the athletic side of the business is the world's first brand to merge black history and sports apparel. So you see what I have on is a Marcus Garvey vest hockey jersey combination. We also have other iconic figures in black history celebrated, like Harriet Tubman, like Mayat, like Mansa Musa, like the Black Panthers. So we can celebrate those particular people in our past who did great things versus any sports team that you might be cheering for who's let you down consistently. And also we have the second part of the business, which is Enemy, which focuses on crystal jewelry and crystal healing modalities. We have things such as the Zodiac pack would have 6 different crystals that resonate with the Zodiac sign. So that's basically our store and our contribution to the circulation of the black dollar, because we all want us to win. Been in business, the athletics brand, maybe 4 to 5 years, and the Star Status store. We've been here since Little Black Wall Street has opened Halloween 2021. Just basically going through the conscious journey of life, learning about different things, a lot of the Kemetic science, a lot of African history, the great empires of Mali, South Africa, and just also being a fan of sports, a jersey head, a sneaker head, just meshing it all together with fashion so it can be presented to a younger audience, and also people who wouldn't necessarily be looking for historical figures or anything like that. So we just made it a little bit more palatable for them to want to know their history and represent their history. So you can find us on Instagram. It's AFR_LETICS. That's the athletics. You can also find Star Status Store on Instagram. So that'll be star_status_store. And also you can find us on TikTok, which would be Jefferson, JEF_A_SUN.AFRLETICS, which is Jefferson Athletics, and also Star Status Store on TikTok as well.
A lot of book signings here, and we use this space to be able to have book signings as well as we do live readings in here. We've hosted Dr. Bernice King right here at this very spot where we're standing right now. We also encourage people to come and just read to their children, which we do get. Some families will come in, they'll pick up a book, they'll sit down and read, or there's been times where we've had children come in and get a book because they're with their siblings and they'll pretend they're doing school. So the space is utilized in a variety of different ways.
And what is your name?
My name is Cynthia Chambry.
Cynthia, Miss Cynthia. What made you wanted to start up a bookstore?
So it starts with my being an educator. I am a certified teacher here in the state of Georgia, and I started my teaching career back in Oregon in 2010. Over the years and from state to state, I've had a variety of kids in my classroom who were black and brown and from various countries. many of the districts that I worked for didn't always have books that represented children that were from other places. So I went on a personal quest to seek and find. Over the years, I've collected quite, a resource, a bank of books that represented black and brown children. So it got to a place where I was still teaching in the classroom, tutoring on the side, but yet doing community events I knew of the resource that I withheld, but I wanted families to know that, these are books that exist and you can have these in your own home so that children have books that look like them. So I started doing community events. And in DC, there was a Black Wall Street in DC, and I got connected with them because of COVID. Wanted to move closer to my children, which were right here in Atlanta. I was having a house built 8 minutes from this market. And when I heard about this Wall Street, I was like, oh yeah, for sure, I've got to be a part of this one. So I didn't have in my goal setting to have a brick and mortar, but it was just the next step. It was the evolution of, because they were online and they were doing very well until COVID. Because I wanted to be close to the family, the business didn't die, it just had to pivot. And this is what it pivoted to.
This is an amazing pivot, definitely, and you're doing it justice. I have a son myself. He's 2 years old, and I try to incorporate books that looks just like him. He gets excited pointing out the brown boys, black boys that look just like him too. You were telling me too, so you have live readings, book readings. What else do you have hosted in this?
Coming up for Black History Month, in fact, we are doing it'll be our first annual showcase of Black authors to celebrate Black history. So every weekend in February, we will be hosting authors all weekend long. We've done Christmas read-alouds, community read-alouds, where we gift every child a book that attends. And for Easter, we do the same. We've have collaborated with a youth publishing company where all of their authors are youth, and we've done I think it was Harvest Weekend. They came out with their books, dressed in character of their book, did their live readings and their book signings.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
It really was.
Where can we find you on social media to stay up to date with these type of events?
So all of our events are posted on Instagram, which is ELDA_READS. That's Elda_reads. And you can also find some of our books on www.eldareads.com.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. I'm Miss Naya Nicole, and I'm here to spark your soul.
Absolutely. I am Sharis, owner of Zoet Beauty Supply. We're here today in the lovely new Black Wall Street Market, a market full of Black-owned businesses that you should definitely be supporting. But again, we're here in my beauty supply store where I have things for men, women, and children for your hair, your nails, your skin. I even have a little bit of apparel. Black is the vibe. What we are here to do is to make sure that my people have a place to shop comfortably and so they can come and get knowledge. We don't just want people picking up anything if they don't know what they're needing. So we specialize in just knowledge of our hair, nail care, and skincare. If you know what you need and you go to somewhere else, it's fine, but feel free to come by so that we can assist you in whatever it is that you need. For people that are not local, no worries. We sell online at zoetbeautysupply.com. That's ZOET. beautysupply.com. We also DoorDash for people that don't want to get out or can't get out. Find us as well on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Zoet Beauty Supply.
Hi, my name is Sunshine, and the name of the business is It's All Good and Then Some.
So tell me, what is in your, not sherbet?
No, so it's closer to a sorbet. People compare it to like a New York style Italian ice or a Philadelphia water ice, but it's creamier than that because there's no ice in it either. And it's actually the fruit itself that's been pureed all the way down, mixed with water, 15 grams of sugar per 2.5 gallon bucket. And so it's not full of sugar and it's not ice, so it's run through a batch freezer to give you that creamy consistency.
How long have you been in business for?
Actually, it's been about 18 months now. Yeah. So I'm pretty new.
Can you tell me some of your flavors?
Ooh, let's see. The most popular flavor, what you just tried, was the Mango-licious. We got strawberry, we got passion fruit, we got sour apple, sour watermelon, Mango-licious. I already said mango, didn't I? Because everybody loved it. Phantom fudge, orange dreamsicle, and so which is my favorite because I'm an old school person. So I do the orange dreamsicle with the coconut. Takes you back to the push pop, push pop. You know when you used to be running down after the ice cream truck. So yes, I can't do ice cream. So that right there is my close to my dreamsicle from back in the days.
Where can we find you on social media?
Oh, at Facebook, It's All Good and Then Some, and also Instagram, It's All Good and Then Some. And my website is www.itsallgoodthensome.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Like, comment, and subscribe.